Oh my God. It's time for another MarTech Live. Today is July 25th, 2025, I think. Hello, everybody.
Okay.
Hey.
We
Hey,
have some
guys.
special guests today. We've got Ryan Phelan, CEO of RPE Origin. Is that how you say it? Is it RPE Origin, or do I say it? Because there's no space. So I'm like,
There actually is a space, but it's RPE Origin.
oh, come on. There's a space. Now I got to fix that.
That's okay. You don't have
I'll fix that later.
It's
Anyway, Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Awesome. I got Molly St. Louis. Hey, Molly.
Hey.
Molly is, I think, the founder, right, of Mosaic Group?
Co-founder, yeah, with my husband.
Excellent. And of course, as always, Mr. Mike Pastor, editorial director of MarTech.org. Welcome, everybody.
All right.
I guess fun. And there's me. I'm Mark. Whatever. So we're live, and we are talking. I've now lost my tab because I have 8,000 tabs. Here, quick poll: how many tabs do you have open currently in your browsers?
I have 37.
Yeah, that sounds right. 8.
1.
One.
I'm very focused. I don't multitask.
It's like unbelievable.
That's like having one email in your inbox.
That's me too. I mean, I can't put the little red number. It kills me every time.
Wow. 1. Okay. Well, in your 1 tab, whatever. Maybe we'll bring up some more tabs. I think today we're gonna go through a couple things today. We're gonna talk about email. We're gonna talk about PR. We might get to talk about deepfakes, which is a cool topic. But let's start with email. And since we've got Ryan here, Ryan, what's the state of email marketing these days? What's going on with AI deliverability? What's the hot take here?
I want to see how long Ryan can talk about email without saying AI.
Oh, nice.
There's a lot of AI in email.
Not long.
Not long.
Half a second.
Not long.
You can spell email without AI.
It's interesting. The things with I've been in the space 27 years. The things that we did and talked about 20 years ago, we're still doing, right? What's exciting is seeing the vendors wrap themselves around AI and their implementation. And it's been almost cyclical in this space, right? So let's go back 15, 17 years. You had Responsus and Exact Target duking it out in every sales meeting. And I used to work for Responsus at the time, and you had all this innovation and all these integrations and all this enablement, and both of those companies were going for the best in the business, right? And then they got gobbled up by Oracle and Salesforce, right? And then innovation died for a long time. All the other providers worked on scale, they worked on basic functionality. They worked on a little bit of stuff, but now we're back to this race in technology and innovation where all of these ESPs are trying to dominate the market in their implementation of AI, and not just writing subject lines, which I think is a joke, right? Or writing copy, which I don't think is robust enough. And I had a meeting this morning and I told my team, I said, don't ever write me an article with AI because you're smarter than any prompt you could do. But really, the defining platforms are going after the data piece of LLM, which is the most interesting piece. So tell me my best performing, show me customers that are predisposed for X, tell me what cycle my customers are on, burnout, lapsed, all that stuff. The really deep intelligence that used to take email marketers a long period of time because they were lower on the priority and had to go through data sciences and a CRM group. So what's really exciting about email right now is seeing marketers enabled to do way more advanced things and sophisticated things because they have an agent to help them deliver that data in a reasonable way. Now, the rest of it is just helping marketers become more sophisticated and think bigger than I'm just going to do one email campaign at a time.
Is there's so much in there to like unpack. I'm not even sure what direction to run in, but is email just to like hijack all of that?
Sure.
Is email still the killer app?
Depends on the month, right? Over the last 20 years, email, mobile, social, or email and social have traded back and forth. Mobile now is coming to play, and that's trading back and forth, right? But I think if you look at ROI from a perspective of your company, not the DMA number that's been around forever. I think if you look at your own company, the return on investment for email is still higher than anything else. And you have a large population of people that are out there. Now, I think that it's suffering. I think we're starting to see email living the consequences of itself. So marketers have not been regulated to hold back. They've been taught to send more. And I think that's going to bite us, and it's starting to bite us, is because I look at my own inbox and it's absolutely insane how much email I get. And people are not, from a governance standpoint, really thinking. And that's why I think if you can use AI responsibly, you can start to look at how many emails do I send before my customers burn out, and through that education, change your behavior.
When you say mobile, you're saying, email mobile. Are you talking about mobile apps, mobile discovery,
Push.
mobile web? Push.
And text.
Yeah.
I think push is eroding email a little bit, just because the person that has an app is a higher degree of a loyalist, right?
Yeah.
So if you have an app on your phone, it's because you have regular access to that, or you're forced into it. If you have regular access to the app and you use it more often, that push has a little bit more staying power. Now, email delivers a little bit more, so the right marketer wants to work in correlation with what's being done in push to echo that in email in terms of a loyalist.
You would think from a personalization and offer standpoint, you'd want those messages to be aligned and synchronized.
You don't want them disconnected at all. So the email marketer is challenged not only by more demand, but also that omni-channel dream that we've been talking about for the last 20 years really has to be a part of your daily practice, because you can't operate in a silo apart from what somebody's doing in text, push, social, all those things. They have to be unified, because consumers are more connected. And if you feel disconnected in your messaging, then that erodes a brand equity.
We get a lot of outreach from companies that are working with RCS, the Rich Communication Service. How popular has that been? There's brands can do some pretty interesting things in it, because you could kind of put an interactive experience in a text message. The big thing was Apple getting on board, so the iPhone users can receive the messages. Has that kind of taken some share from email, or
I think everything takes share from email, because you can do a whole lot more everywhere else, right? I mean, email has been constrained because of security and different things within the inbox, and we've been limited in the type of technology that we can practice. Now, there are companies that allow you to do rich text and different experiences in email, but we're still limited as a channel. With text, it's so new and so white in terms of a sheet of paper. You can do all kinds of things, and it's not going to change the schema of what text is. There are technologies that tried to change what the schema of email was by putting, put your whole card experience in the inbox, or these type of things, and it didn't really work. Because people have this schema of what email is, whereas text and other things, so new, you can try all kinds of things and it's going to have a resonance. Now, what I want to see is, long term, does it have that same resonance, or is it just the law of something new? What's really interesting is what WhatsApp is going to come in and replace.
Yeah.
Right? So WhatsApp, from a customer service standpoint or a promotional standpoint, you replace the cost of SMS and RCS with a WhatsApp account.
That's interesting. I've recently been dragged into WhatsApp for some of these like group things, which is fascinating. So that's yet a whole nother ecosystem. Molly, on the PR side, I'm assuming that it's still fairly traditional in terms of outreach to, like, hey, we want to connect dots with, let's say, people who might cover our stuff. Is email the only application for that, or are we actually starting to see some of the stuff Ryan's talking about in just sort of PR outreach as well?
Absolutely. So yeah, the publicity side of PR, which is getting media mentions, you usually go through a platform like Prowly or Cision. And
Mhm.
I find I really like Prowly because I will go and see who opened it, but who opened it like 2 and 3 times. Did they open it at 9 in the morning and then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Then I know, okay, they read it and then they came back to it. So
Mhm.
then you tailor it by looking at what did they write about recently. And for PR, you really have to, publicity, media relations side of it, you have to really look at what is this reporter writing about and read between the lines. For example, if they just covered, you know, email marketing, WhatsApp, for the WhatsApp
Mhm.
story, they might not necessarily want to be covering WhatsApp all the time, or they might. Or it might be this person's just really interested in email marketing and a specific part of it. And you kind of have to be a good critical thinker to say,
Mhm.
like, okay, why did they open my emails sometimes? What are they thinking about right now? What are the last 3 stories been about? And then how can I position my next email back to them?
Mhm.
Do you there's a certain level of I feel like there's a certain level of permission that's even beyond email subscriptions to a WhatsApp or an SMS. That's a lot more intimate, a lot closer.
Mhm.
Like I think to your point of like I download an app and I approve, notifications. I know for me personally, all notifications are off. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if I'm, a heavy user of an app. I'm never going to see one of those notifications. I don't want to see them. So I think and every channel I think has a different challenge to it. But there is an intimacy to
There
having
is.
someone's phone number.
There is. And since it's their phone, their actual phone, whatever, and it's what's done that is the tabs and the separation of promotional messages, and what Gmail did a number of years ago and everybody else followed behind,
Yeah.
right? Is that we separated out from a psychological standpoint emails for my mother as opposed to a sale at American Airlines.
Right.
And we've now protected segments of our inbox with different classes of messages. Now, that's not a bad thing per se. People are always coming to me going, how can I get my sales message in the primary inbox? And I'm like, literally, you don't want to be there, because people's preference or tolerance for those promotional messages alongside their mother is quite low, right?
That's really actually I have not thought of this. Is like you just like as an email marketing team, right? Like the team that we have, we're always fighting to get in the inbox. What you just said is actually completely counterintuitive to that because it doesn't like. Do you actually want to be in the inbox, or are you going to make people annoyed, or
You're
like
going
is
to know
that
that, yeah. What I
that's
tell people is when somebody goes into the promotional inbox or the promotional folder, psychologically they are predisposed to spend. Now it's your job to get them to come to you and spend, right? But that action of clicking into the promotional folder is subconsciously geared toward intent. If you put that intent, if you put the United Airlines or American Airlines in the primary inbox, it gets cluttered with everything else, and you've gone back to the time before tabs, and people would just not. People don't want that.
I'm having a little bit of like a moment of realizing how correct you are and how shameful's not the right word, but how desperate marketers are. Like the whole discussion is like, well, like a whole entire ecosystems have been built around kind of avoiding the promotions tab, and you're actually saying you actually want to be in the promotions tab because it's a promotion, like obviously.
The reason why people want to be in the inbox is because their message isn't strong enough to compete with the rest of the messages in the promotional poll.
That's a major. You just threw down right there, Ryan.
Yes,
I mean,
but it is. I mean,
just...
we think that volume will take care of it. We think that all these things will make my message complete, but marketers just want to have their message noticed, and it's like, well, it sucks in the first place. Why you can't cheat?
I'm blown away. I never thought of it that way, to be totally honest. Like it never occurred to me, and now I'm ashamed that I never thought of it. Let's do a quick poll. I have multiple inboxes. I'm looking at my personal Gmail box, but you bring up your personal. How many promotional emails do you have? I mean, if you clean it, I mean, Molly might have 0. I don't know, but like, how many? What's the number? Because my number is astounding, and I have cleaned it within the last 6 months.
I have 40 emails because I regularly go through and delete them.
Oh, you're a cleaner. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a cleaner too, but I have 1,609.
I have a feeling I'm going to win. Mike?
Where do I even see how many there are?
It's like up in the top corner.
607.
Oh my God. You guys, I have 11,500.
Now, if I look on the left side of my Gmail in the promotionals folder that I've archived,
yeah,
I have 119,796.
Okay. I don't feel so bad. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I got 11,000 in my active promotion stuff. I don't think I'm going to get through them all.
No.
I don't even buy that much stuff. Oh my gosh.
I don't, and it was funny. I was talking to Mike before this. Like, I'm looking at what's in there right now, and it's like I know, like I don't know how much is cold email. Like I recognize most of what's in here. I think these people are just over mailing. I mean,
they are.
I mean, I don't want to call anybody. Maybe I will call people out. I mean, there's a large hotel chain. I think I'm looking at like 20 emails in the last like 6 days from them.
Yeah.
Like,
there's
why?
a marketing platform that will remain nameless for this that would send me 6 emails a day. And I finally just had to opt out. I love them. I love reading their content. It's awesome, but leave me alone.
It's like a lot. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me look at. I'm going to type one. This I think I've got. I bet I have 100. I have. Well, it was just 50 of many.
50 of many. That's bad.
That's bad.
That's very bad.
That's bad. Yeah, I was at one point. I was segmenting. I was just adding labels. So I was just doing some testing myself. And there's in BB space, we're shameless as well. And I was getting like 2 or 3 a day from a particular vendor. Going, what do they expect is going to happen here, or is it just dysfunction? And there's like multiple teams that are not talking to one another, coordinating.
It's 2 things. They're trying to stack, right? So if I'm in the promotional folder, I am fighting for page 1. If I send you an email in the morning and you don't see it, it drops off. You got 50 emails in your folder. And so what we've gotten into is they're trying to get to the top of your inbox so that whenever you go in, you will notice it.
Yeah. Interesting.
The other thing to think about is this: for the last 15-ish years, right? What we saw during holiday Q4 was that volume overall would increase somewhere around 20%. And then in January it would back off a little, right? Take that increase over the amount of time over those years, you've just got people sending way more email than they can reasonably put out there in an effective strategy.
And all that said, I mean, email has remained incredibly resilient through all of that, despite that, which is kind of interesting and I guess a little unusual given how much email is actually sent to the average person.
Yes, but it's effective. But I would love to see from the inbox providers, because they would have that data. We don't necessarily have that across brands, right? Is how many times are people mass unsubscribing? What's that top level that people just get, that threshold that people are like, I got too much, I'm going to thin out my inbox, and I whittle it down. I mean, we've all had those moments. It's like, gee, Merry Christmas, I can't take it, and we just start hitting the unsubscribe button. And if you look at Gmail's made it incredibly effective because they put it at the end of the row. Hit the button. Now they have a subscriptions page. Yeah. You can go in and see and start to mass unsubscribe from people and from companies.
Oh yeah, I got it. It's I have it in my app, and it's like it's a little button. It's like manage subscriptions. It's one click. Yes. Like goodbye. Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, Ryan, if you've seen the impact of that yet. Every time I've talked to you about unsubscribes, I feel like your attitude has kind of been like, good. If people don't want your emails, then you don't want them on your list. And there has been this issue for volume of the size of the list, the volume of the emails sent out, which seems kind of misdirected.
It is. everybody thinks that they have to, and this drives me absolutely crazy. They have to hide the unsubscribe link at the bottom in the small text for God forbid you want to unsubscribe from this email. And literally put it in a big button. If you want to be off, let them off. Because there's two things. Number one, you're wasting time and effort on an detrited email. And second, if they can't find the unsubscribe, they're just going to hit the spam button. And I don't know why marketers just hate that damn button. It's just push it, right? I'm managing an account for a family member and who wanted me to just kind of fix his email account, right? And I'm going through and unsubscribing for all kinds of stuff. And I have seen every iteration of trying to hide the unsubscribe button at the bottom of the email, and it's just absolutely nuts.
What's worse than that, frankly, is when, and this has happened to me for, I think it was maybe 2 Christmases ago, I was like, all right, I'm gonna clean up my inbox. And I started unsubscribing and making a note like, okay, I unsubscribed from this. And they never unsubscribed me.
Right.
And it's like, well, now you're going to force me to click the spam button. And I click the spam button and nothing happens. I mean, now what happens, I believe, is Gmail just never shows it to you. Like you've told Gmail, but you're not actually unsubscribed. I think the same thing is happening with me on text. Unfortunately, my phone number got out on some political things. And so I get between 5 and 15 texts a day, like legitimately. And I delete and report every single one. I never respond. I don't engage, but delete, report, delete, report, delete. It's always from 771 something.
Yep.
Okay.
There's clearly nothing happening behind the scenes with report and delete. Like,
yeah.
Like it's not working. Whatever thing it's not. It's like is this thing hooked up to anything? I don't think it is. Like I do suspect that you still see these weird unsubscribe messages that are like, we'll unsubscribe you within 24 to 48 hours. Like, what email system do you have that did?
You know what it is? And this is the thing. In canned spam, it says you have 10 days, right? It was 10 days because at the time of canned spam, things weren't linked together. It literally, I was at a company where it was 7 days legitimately to get the unsubscribes back to the ESP.
That makes a lot of sense.
Now, all the ESPs control the unsubscribe, unless you're one of these weird companies that want to control the unsubscribe and do the sync and all that stuff, which is silly. But what I have found is that they tell you that 48 hours, they tell you that 7 or 10 days because they want one last chance to email you before they have to drop you off the list.
As if it's going to work.
Yes. Like, oh my God, this deal is not, I never knew this deal was out there.
Wow. Thank you.
This is amazing.
What about lists? So, we talk about, we've had this conversation Third Door a bunch because we have a bunch of different lists that you get on.
Mm-hmm.
And so unsubscribe is a multi-layered word. Like I'm unsubscribed from I think it was Marriott. No offense to Marriott. They're great. I'm a huge Marriott Bonvoy guy. Love it. Love Marriott. Always say Marriott. But they've subscribed me to like the credit card list and the high-end vacation list. These are not the same list. When I unsubscribe from the credit card list or the special offer list, I'm not unsubscribed from all the other. I understand transactional emails. I have no problem with those. But it's like, well, how many lists are there, and how do I know which one I'm getting off of at any given time? And the answer is you don't, and it's intentional, right?
It is. It's intentional. Our agency works with a very large financial services company, and the fight for email addresses within the organization is, well, if you're opted into this card, you should be getting offers for this card, and it's the Wild West, right? And so email address becomes a property or an asset. It doesn't become a customer. It's actually an asset that's shared across organizations. And they do that because they want all the money. And so getting off of it is tough. Yeah.
Interesting. That's a pretty decent segue, Molly, to some PR stuff. I mean, what's happening with SEO, with the massive adoption of chatbots, LLMs, all this stuff, which I believe now is the fastest growing consumer technology in history. The last 9 months, more of us are using chatbots than ever, and it's happened faster than any other technology adoption. I think that's the right frame. I don't know the exact numbers, but so you've got this massive adoption. You've got SEO kind of becoming less important in terms of like how much traffic you can get from it in rankings, and you get more people who are engaging in LLMs. And now we're hearing about the resurgence of brand and how important public relations is and all this other stuff. When you've got a single channel that's very effective, like email, great. You kind of use it and abuse it until it doesn't work anymore. Now we've got an additional problem here with how people are discovering brands, how they're discovering content, how they're answering questions, and frankly, even offers. And like maybe later we'll talk about how agents will impact that, because that's going to really change a lot. How do you like? I've been beating this drum around brand is back for a few months now. I think I'm right, but like, what do you think? Like, is public relations, PR efforts, and brand like stepping into a vacuum that has just been left by this giant SEO hole, or is there something else going on?
I think there's a little bit of a lull while people are figuring out what is going on here. But I do think that public relations is going to go back to the core of what it actually was in the beginning. A lot of people like to think of PR. Whenever somebody says PR, it's media relations, getting publicity via online, print, television, whatever, and that's just one piece of PR. The other thing is that people don't sometimes realize that getting those opportunities is built on having a community, having email marketing, having social media, having a strong internal company brand that creates this ecosystem, this community that makes you more attractive to reporters. And a lot of the time that has to happen first. So, when you pitch, they're often looking for your social media following. How engaged are they? If they read an article about you and you're not, Amazon or one of the big guys, how engaged are your online followers, and what are they going to get out of it by writing about you? The other thing is that back in the day, stories, like if I'm a good writer and I'm your publicist and I pitch you, I could probably get you on the Today Show back in the day. And we did. But it was there was less competition. There was less even though there were a lot of pitches coming the way of the reporters, there were less than now, because a lot of people are using AI to write pitches. So it might not be, certainly AI is pretty good at writing, but it's not going to find an interesting angle. But also the sheer volume is overwhelming to the producers. So all of this to say, I think the PR is going to become more holistic, and that people are going to go back to really building communities and building relationships, because that's really the only way to make those connections and then get those things. And then talking about what Ryan is saying, when you do finally get your piece in Business Insider, using the crap out of it in your email marketing, using it to validate, to perhaps create an event around, like a lightning strike event where people talk about the story and you get them to engage for the long term.
Yeah.
Some observations from someone who's often on the receiving end of PR pitches. First is, I think it's been decided, I don't know if it's been proven, that earned media is important to getting shown as a citation in LLMs. Being across different channels, having your name, your company name, your thought leadership out there. Since people have started talking about trying to get featured in LLMs, the pitches for PR have gone through the roof. The other thing that could be happening is PR is cheaper than advertising in some cases, so it could be budget shifts as well. But the number of pitches is certainly overwhelming. The second thing I would say is that there's a lot in common between people pitching, thought leaders for PR and cold email from sales. They are basically like two sides of the same coin at this point to me, with the follow-ups that are automated. It's like, I don't know if they use SalesLoft or something similar, but yeah, there's definitely some sort of automation involved to hit you up a few times over the course of a week. And yeah, the thing that bothers me about some of the PR pitches, like especially for podcast guests, you get an email. I see that you just had Jane on your podcast. I want to introduce you to this person who is just like Jane.
Right.
Why do I want to put Jane on twice? Right.
That's kind of what I was trying to say before with the critical thinking element to it. I know that before, when I was a writer for Inc. and Adweek and stuff, people would say, "Oh, I know you wrote about exactly the same thing. You wrote about this. So how about you write about their competitive company?" And it was like, that wasn't the point of my article. My article was about something completely different, and they just happened to be the thought leader for it. But I think what is frustrating when you're on your side of it, Mike, I imagine, is that you're getting all of this and you want people to send you personalized, build a relationship with you, knowing what you really write about, knowing what you care about. The relationship isn't there, is what it sounds like.
It goes back to what Mark admitted a few minutes ago. He's been on the brand beat for a few months now. If you're pitching me somebody who is from a huge brand in our space, a Salesforce, a HubSpot, I mean, your pitch email could be like blah, 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 so-and-so at HubSpot. And I'm probably going to jump at that. The ones who do the best job are the people, like the person they're pitching and their company you have never heard of. But like, if you get my attention with the pitch, and I'll reply to people and be like, nice pitch. Because if you could take this person, I've never heard of them or their company, and get me interested, then you have done your job.
Which is, like thinking about Ryan talking about the promotions box, why this is oddly connected in my brain right now, right? I mean, it's the same thing as being in the promotion, like write a good email, like think about something clever, think about something different. I mean, we're in an ocean of sameness. I think to the point of the AI content, one of the limitations for people who aren't really, really good at using LLMs to create content is it just all comes out kind of the same.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's very easy to create sameness.
Yeah. B2B spam, Mike, I think would be this, what I would probably say is similar, right? We all probably I get 20 to 30 a day, right? And I will reply back to somebody that actually writes a clever B2B spam email. Yeah. And may not buy from them, but just I'm like, all right, you got your lead. I'll get you your KPI for the month or whatever. But when AI is writing it, anytime I see an icon or a squiggly face or whatever in the heck it is, the emoji, I'm like, delete. It's just, people need to sell it. That art is vanishing with AI. Our creativity is being discounted by speed.
By speed, yeah. I think the M dash is having a really weird moment right now. Mike, you and I and Pamela on our research team were talking about this. She's got a new great agentic research paper, and she is really experienced, a really good writer, and really good writers a lot of times use M dashes because that's a technique that really good writers have used for hundreds or thousands of years, right? Like the M dash is not new, but M dashes have invaded. In fact, I was just watching a video right before we recorded this of Sam Altman talking about, he got asked the question, like, what are we going to do about M dash? And he's like, I don't know, but we got to solve the problem. Like AIs are clearly using these things in a preponderous amount. There's too much with the M dashes, and it's kind of becoming a weird signal that this might have been AI generated, even if it wasn't. And now, so for Pamela, it's a legit. I think it's a legitimate question. Like you might want to scale back on the M dashes, even if they're all legit, because the reader might perceive this as being AI generated, and that's ultimately a bad thing in our business.
You second guess what you thought you knew. The M dash serves a purpose. I'm getting the same way with bullet points, right? If you ask AI to go through some sort of process or something, it's going to bullet it out for you, and that's great. It's easy to read. So I want to do the same thing for my readers because I want to be like, boom, 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 here's your digestible nuggets in this story. And you look at the bullet points and you go, gosh, now I look, now I may not sound like an LLM, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'm trying my best to make sure that the content seems humanly generated.
Yeah.
But you see the bullet points and you go, gosh, this looks like what ChatGPT spit out for me when I asked it about whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you second guess it, and at the end of the day, it's all about like readability. I think that's the reason that ChatGPT and, like you said, writers use these things, because they are useful. And they're trying to do the same thing. They're trying to take this thing of text that nobody takes the time to go through anymore and make it digestible and reviewable and skimmable. And you end up with em dashes and bullet points.
My favorite thing is when you write something in Grammarly and then you press plagiarism checker, and it checks for like AI text, and it's something that you've written. And then you're like, I know that wasn't AI, that was me. And I'm going to get rid of these em dashes and bullet points or whatever, because it's even something that I sound like.
I've had mixed results with the AI checkers. I have taken stuff that I've written and put it in there, and it'll be like, yeah, it's AI. And I've taken stuff that other people have written, and I've taken stuff from AI and put it in, and it'll tell me it's human. I think the false positives there are pretty high.
I think so too.
It's weird, right? And it does, I think this em dash thing is really interesting, because when I had this conversation with Pamela, I was feeling, because I know she's not using AI. I mean, she's using AI, but she's not using AI to write all this stuff. And I felt very weird saying, like, the perception of our content is just as important in many ways as the content. That's what brand is, right? Like, how people feel about this. And if people start thinking, right or wrong, that we are using synthetic data or fake data or using AI to write stuff, it has this weird thing in my brain. I could be overstating it, but just feels weird to me in this moment with this em dash thing. I don't. Molly, did you question yourself? Or you're like, no, I'm 100% sure I wrote this myself.
Yeah. But then also one sort of toxic thing I did is, like, in writing emails, if I thought that people would think it was AI, I kind of wrote it a little worse. Like, I wrote it more, like, kind of like messed up my punctuation, or gave a little like smiley face with the parentheses, or just to let you know, no, this is me. I'm talking to you. I did not generate this. It's hard because it's learning from us in real time.
Right. There was a really, really great story. I think it was the Washington Post did years ago that followed the path of somebody writing a letter to the President of the United States and being one of the few people that got a handwritten note back. And they followed the whole journey. They got access to the whole journey of the letter. How did it end up with him? How did he write a note back that got back to them? And the woman who received the note back looked at it and was like, this is an auto pen or whatever. And then she's like, he made a little grammar mistake. And the auto pen would never do that.
Yes.
Right? If you had a machine doing it, it would be perfect. So you're saying that, Molly, like that little bit of humanness, right? That like, hey,
those characters show us it's real. The word "got" I never used. I like to use that in business because it sounds base. Should you have or have you any whatever the thing. I can never remember examples, but I never would use that word because it was sort of a low word. And now I use it all the time because I want you to know, look, I'm from the Midwest, or my Midwest parents. We use that word a lot. So I'm a person,
That's so interesting. I'm going to segue to deepfakes, because this is the next generation of what we just talked about is what's happening with video. But really quick, Ryan, you and I talked about this yesterday, the old email tactic of intentionally misspelling something so that you can send the apology email to reinforce the brand. Like, this is something that growth marketers have been doing for years, right?
It's forever. I did it 15 years ago when I was at Sears. Molly, what you do is you'd make an intentional mistake in your email so that you could send an email that says, oops, we messed up. Everybody loves a train wreck. And so you have higher open and engagement rates on the oops email and on the previous email, but you can't do it all the time. But if you want clicks and sales, there's some levers like that.
Misspell Sears and be like, oh, the intern forgot that Sears had an S.
Even better if the intern goes viral and people say, dear intern, I've made that mistake. And then it has it, right?
We did it at Sears. We sent out an email and said, it looked like a draft and it had all the comments from all our team. We had fun with it. And then we sent it out and said the intern pushed the send button. Sorry.
Incredible. Incredible.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So let's take this to the next level. So I was listening to the Verge cast, I think, and talking with the CEO of Mirage Studio. They make AI videos basically, and the CEO, I think the CEO wrote this piece. We build synthetic humans. Here's what's keeping us up at night. And like this deepfake technology is getting really, really good. Apparently, there's kind of they've now released like a second generation of this technology that like have dramatically evolved, but the advanced models aren't the only ones doing the damage. Like this stuff is really evolving quickly. This is you can't. I don't think you're gonna be able to hear it, but this is the original. And I mean, like you really can't. It's kind of insane. And so like we're in this world. Here's one of captions that are perfectly matched with background sound. Again, you can't hear the sound. I'll try to share the link out later. But what's the like? We just got done talking about changing the way we write, the way we communicate because of AI, and now here comes technology that takes this to another level, which is now it's video, it's audio, it's visual stimulation of. Okay, there's Jon Stewart saying something I never thought I'd see Jon Stewart saying, but he's clearly saying it, or is he? Like from a marketing standpoint, I mean, we could go a bunch of directions however you want to go, but like just from a marketing world standpoint, how I'm trying to wrap my head around this and what it means ultimately, because there's power, but there's also danger.
I think there's more danger than power.
Absolutely.
I think if you look at the societal factors that we're currently going through as a country and as a world, trust is at the top of the problems that we have. Trust in government, trust in news, trust in facts, trust in all this stuff, right? And what commonly happens is what is in front of us gets the traction, not the defense or the abolishment of what happened afterwards. And I think there's a lot of danger in some of the AI technologies that are coming out because it has the potential and the reality to do great harm before you can come out and say this is a deep fake or this is not true.
I mean, we've seen this movie before, right? The previous elections with Facebook, Facebook, that was all machine learning. It wasn't generative AI, but it was machine learning affecting algorithms. This technology, and it's interesting in the interview. It's a really good interview if you're interested. I think it was this week, and the question that Nilay asked, I can't remember the CEO's name now, but asked was like, well, we know of the dangers. He freely admits there's dangers. That's what this entire article about is the danger. And the question was something like, why are you building it if we know the danger? And the answer, I mean, I think we all know the answer, right? The answer is money.
Money.
So like, how does this relate to what we were just talking about? Well, we just got done talking about using low or common words, right? To sort of build trust or fake, misspelling and then having the intern send their, like, that's all not honest. That's all not true. It might be effective, might get clicks to be fair, but it's not honest. And so if I create an AI generated avatar of myself and it becomes the thing that's now on air and it's not actually me, where's the line? Like I'm just struggling with like the technology is super powerful. It's very cool, super fun to play with, but like, this. I don't think we've ever encountered anything like this before.
I think the part of the article that kind of depressed me, I think it was the part where I kind of gave up, is where they said that the solution is media literacy, and I was like, that ship has sailed.
That's sailed.
Oh yes,
right.
It's ethics. It's the installation of ethics in a world that ethics change quite often.
Yeah, right there. We need a new kind of media literacy. But when you think about it, like LinkedIn, I have several times used AI to generate an image to use on LinkedIn, and they put the little tag on it, and I don't care because I'm not trying to claim that I'm an artist. I just needed a visual to go with my post. But LinkedIn is a somewhat reputable organization owned by a large corporation with lawyers, and like I don't worry about LinkedIn and this stuff as much as I worried about everybody's a publisher. And how do you police that?
Yeah, and media literacy too. I mean, it's a can of worms. Like a few years ago, even like I think as even like about 2 years ago, I had a discussion with a media professor at a college about why his examples were not they weren't good examples, because he was using a Forbes council member contributor, a CEO that paid to be a writer for Forbes, and then a Forbes staff writer, which is different. And they said, let me look at how these two journalists cover this differently. And I was like, yes, because one of them is biased, because one of them has a business
Yeah.
about this and has a vested interest in it. It's not unbiased. But then if you look at other things, just the way that certain stories are reported on, there's always a slant in the writing, depending on which political side that particular media entity resides on. And so there's always a slant. But now we have deep fakes that look like human beings. And I mean, beyond telling people how to spot a deep fake, look at the mouth, look at the hands, that kind of thing. How would we even go about creating media literacy around something like that?
Yeah,
I don't think it's possible.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think it's possible either. But you take that and you apply it to the algorithmically driven feeds, right? Where the stuff just comes at you with velocity and volume. And it's like, how do you even notice the hands and the mouth? Because you're going through your feed, but you're probably looking at something else while you're doing it. So you're only hearing it to begin with. It's a problem. It's
Yeah. Or vice versa, Mike. You don't hear it, you see it, right? And I think that's actually the more dangerous one, which is the voices aren't quite perfect yet. And they did point out in the podcast that like AI isn't great at creating like ambient New York City street noise, or like it's not great at that. So that can sound a little weird. But if you're flipping through your algorithmic feed with the sound off, which I notice myself doing often, like I'm laying in bed, my wife's asleep, I don't want to bother, I forgot my AirPods downstairs. So I'm just kind of flipping and reading the captions. Well, what signal do you like? How literate do you have to be? I'm pretty literate. I don't know that I could tell. I mean, common sense. Common sense is what tells. Like, okay, I don't think Jon Stewart would say that.
Yeah.
Well, but you get into a discussion of intelligence, right?
Yeah.
So you have a part of the population that would look at what Jon Stewart said and go, I don't know that he would say that. And you'd take 5 seconds and go check. No, that's not true. Or you'd see something that sets off an alarm. And then you have a segment of the population that's like, it's on the internet, it must be true. And
Yeah.
you can't educate to the different facets of stuff. You have to. That's why I think this is so dangerous,
Yeah.
right? And it's not even intelligence. I mean, if I think about my mom would see something and she would go, "Is this true?"
Yeah.
But she still would come at it from, she doesn't know technology, right? And so it scares me for her, but it scares me in the bigger realm of, there is a vast number of the population that's just going to believe it because it was on Facebook.
I mean, here's where I have a little bit of hope. In my family, we've been talking about this recently because we had something. My wife found something, and she was telling me, "Oh, Peyton Manning, like met this little kid and adopted them." And I was like, I was hook, line, and sinker. Like, wow, that's amazing! Isn't Peyton Manning great? And then like a couple hours later, I was like, "Is that true?" Like, is that true? So I looked and I was like, hey, this is not true. And so ever since then, our family, dinner, what'd you see today? We're now questioning it first, which I think is different, right? I think like
Critical
up until
thinking,
recently,
yeah.
you saw it on Facebook. You saw it on Facebook. It must be true. I think one of the things that I'm experiencing myself is I'm doubting, and it feels terrible because I want to believe that Peyton Manning met some little kid and adopted or whatever. But like, I'm now finding myself like with a media literacy filter, which is like, I don't believe anything.
Right.
Yeah, which is also that it's also a dangerous slippery slope with that.
Yeah.
But one of the things like that pertains to PR that you might see on Instagram is you'll see these very sensationalized messages, and then you'll see like CNN, the Today Show, and all of these things, and it's going as seen on these things. What those people, because I saw a company like that, or I got asked to contract with one, and I said, what was your press with this? Where were you mentioned here? And it was because they ran ads on those, like programmatic media. And so they were passing it off as PR.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I've seen
And
that.
I'm seeing a lot of companies do that where I look at the headline, and having come from media, I go immediately red flag. I went to CNN would never say that. The Today Show would never say that. What are they doing that's making this true for them? And that's what they're doing. And you know, that's another thing that I would just ask the companies we got to be honest. We can't be so quick to market things that we're dishonest like that.
Wow. Let's again segue and we'll wrap it up. We didn't test this in advance, so if you don't want to play, Molly and Ryan, you don't have to, but if you want to play, just say so. It's we're gonna do what's on your feed. Mike, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I can go first.
All right, you go first. So this is where we bring up our LinkedIn feed, we refresh the screen, and we see what's on the feed.
And let me tell you, nothing's more exciting than Friday summer LinkedIn.
Heck yeah, let's go.
Oh yeah.
I see us as our first as the thing in our feed.
I like that.
Michelle Nieberding, I probably just butchered your name, Michelle. I'm sorry. I've met Michelle. She's wonderful. She is a product marketing manager, and every Friday she does PMM hacks. She knows what she's talking about. No, speaking of email, Inflection integrates with Marketo.
There you
go. What else we got? Attention does not equal adoption. That is absolutely true. Number of brands you can think of that you have never done business with. Let's see. Has ESG lost its purpose? MarTech. Yeah, I wrote about budgets this week. Actually, I wrote it a couple weeks ago, but it published this week about mistakes in budgets. Lee McKenzie, our friend from Backlinko, SEO courses. There's big changes coming to SEO courses.
Oh yeah.
Course is canceled.
There are AI courses. I think we're going to be seeing in the future. There's our friends at SEMrush. The secret recipe to good marketing in 2025. Everybody wants to know that. It's almost time to start talking about marketing with 2026 in your stuff.
Yeah.
Looking at the calendar, right? Uncomfortable truths. These are always good.
Is that Garrett?
Yes, our egos are about to get a strong dose of humility. We're in a post-truth world. This is, we just started talking about this. Possible to distinguish between human-generated content and content created or assisted by AI. Social media has already thrust us into this years ago.
Hey, look, I commented.
Oh, you did. There you go.
The world is collapsing on itself.
Yep. Hey, there's us. Dan Harris is a MarTech contributor. Are you brand blind? I've talked to Chris Ross from Gartner about marketing leadership, CMOs. Always interesting stuff from those folks. I'm trying to think now what their last research was on brand loyalty. Brand loyalty is very fickle, I think, was the last thing that Gartner came out with, that people will be loyal to brands, but especially when it comes to price. There are certain things that will make people loyal if it's the highest price, but there are also certain product categories where if it's cheaper, they win, even if there's another brand they like better. So that's what's on my feed.
Molly or Ryan, either one of you brave enough, you want to give it a shot or
I'll do it.
All right,
I'm interested in what's on Ryan's feed.
Let's see what you got, man. You click there's like a little share arrow down the bottom. You got it.
All right.
What's on the feed?
All right, what do we got?
Oh, here we go. This is great.
Serena Williams.
Hey,
Serena Williams is going to be at Zeta 25, one of the email company's user conferences. Not as an endorsement, but it's probably the best user conference I go to. And Pam Lord.
Have you met Ed C yet, Ryan?
Ed C.
He started a little while ago. He's their new, I think, chief customer officer. I interviewed
Oh
him.
no, but I've heard about him.
Yeah, so I think my episode drops either next week or the week after. I did a podcast episode with him. He's amazing.
Oh.
I loved him. He was great.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
There's an ad. Matt Vernhout has been in the email space forever on the deliverability side. Man, that guy's smart, knows his stuff. I always love his stuff. Randy Levy is about as connected as a sales guy in the space as you can find. Matt Swift. I got a lot of Zeta. I don't know why. Anybody want to go to a private dinner?
Let's go.
Private
we'll
dinners
do
are
a
hot.
MarTech Live from Boston.
Right.
I'm going to Boston this weekend, actually.
Hey, awesome.
All right. I love Boston.
Love
Yeah,
it too.
Boston's awesome. My uncle's turning 90 years old
Oh my gosh.
in Boston.
Congrats, Uncle.
Thank you.
Private dinners are hot. I
Yeah,
see
they
them
are.
everywhere.
They are. Consulting business was booming. Now it's not. I hope that's not true. Dan Springer, former CEO of Responses, helped take them public and the acquisition to Oracle. He's been popping around. He was the CEO of DocuSign for a long time.
Oh wow.
Great, very respected in the space. Very smart man.
And every July, his mother turns 59. Is that what it says?
In July, yes. That's how my grandfather was. He started going backwards at a certain point. He felt like that was a better thing. One day he couldn't remember how old he was. He had to ask my grandmother how old he was.
Oh my God.
David's over at another. I get a lot of people connected at ESPs. So Will and David are both at Message Gears. Marketing guide. I may have to download that. A lot of email content.
Yeah, I mean the algorithm. It's funny. Like there was a piece that I think was on MarTech talking about the algorithm changing. Obviously, they're focused on video. I think we've now seen 2 feeds with not a single piece of video on it, which is interesting. Also, there's video. We got finally got video. As I'm saying, yeah, that's an ad though, isn't it? That's promoted.
It's an ad, yeah.
Yeah.
Although my friends over at Inbox Army, there we go. Mia.
There it is.
Mia is fantastic. She does a regular vidcast. It's really, really good. And Chad White. I mean, pretty much all email all the time on my.
Makes sense. You're an email guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Algorithm's got you figured out.
The algorithm is correct.
Molly, are you interested in the last feed?
I think it should be your feed. I want to see
You
your
want to see my feed? All right.
Yeah.
Let's do my feed real quick. Is that the right thing? Hold on. Okay. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's refresh and see what we got here. All right. I got Miriam Jessier. She's a new friend. She's actually a contractor for SEMrush. She's really smart, and I'm really liking getting to know her. She wrote a piece that's actually a sponsored piece that's on both MarTech and Search Engine right now. Yeah, so she's great. Here's an ad from Dell. That's fun. Oh, here's us. There's us. We just broke the internet. Oh my God.
Oh, wow. It's like
Absolutely
we're inside
sorry.
of the internet.
What the heck? Mark Hinkle is a new friend. He runs the largest AI meetup group in the Southeast. Mike, heads up. We might be doing an event with him in December in Raleigh. We're going to find out. I'm going to have a conversation with him about it.
No, I'd go to Raleigh.
Yeah, this guy is great. Really focused on AI adoption enterprises, runs a training company. He's awesome. AI for Business, that's an ad. Jordan Adams is an old MarTech friend. He restarted a business. He's in London, I think. Look at that picture. That's nice. I'll pause.
Not London either.
Yeah.
He's not in London right now. No. Our friend Lily Ray, always talking about SEO. She's great. What is she talking about? Great stuff by Andrea. Andrea is talking about Under the Hood of New AI-Powered Web Guide, which I've not had a chance to look at. A lot of stuff going on in the SEO world. I was at an SEO meetup on Tuesday night with Patrick Stocks and having my brain blown open by what's actually happening with users and some of the data that's coming out. Tom Goodwin's an old standby here. This guy is so smart. So he's talking about agentic AI. So my thing is not all email, which is nice. Who is this person? LinkedIn is no longer a place for job. But oh wait, this is an ad, isn't it?
Yep.
That's an ad. It's got 1,300 comments though. Is that an ad? Huh. Will Reynolds keynoted it at SMX in Boston. He's an amazing speaker and an even better guy. He has the scoop on SEO. There you go. And there you go. Garrett Sussman again. That's what's on my feed. Nick Zeckitz. There you go.
You need a little more email.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, squeezing out the.
You just forward me some good stuff, and I'll put it on there.
You know, my stuff on MarTech, it's decent. You know,
that's algorithmic, man. I don't control that. All right.
I'll start sending it to you.
Exactly. I think that's it. Any parting words? First of all, let me thank Ryan and Molly for joining us. It was amazing. Thank you for Molly in particular, not in particular, but Molly. I know I texted you like 2 hours ago. So
hey, all I was doing was taking care of people's cats who are on vacation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And Ryan, great to get connected. Mike,
yes.
I know you got power back after losing power of the day, so you're back in business.
Yep.
Have a great Friday. Have a great weekend, and we'll do it again soon.
Sounds
all right. Thanks.